So today we're going to be making my favorite roast duck with an orange sauce, creamy mashed potatoes and asparagus. Asparagus is in season for those of us here in the UK, so I've been finding every excuse to eat it. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, I want my greens. If you haven't already subscribed to my YouTube channel, be sure to click the link below, and I've got loads of content coming your way. So let's get into it. So the first thing we're going to start off by doing is scoring our duck legs. Once you've scored your duck, gently season, generously season actually, with some salt, black pepper, and my What's Clucking poultry seasoning. Salt-wise, I tend to like to use pink Himalayan salt or the rock salt. This isn't sponsored, it's the Malden's one, it's just my favorite rock salt. How you're going to make sure you end up with succulent duck is to cook it slow, which means we're even going to start off with the pan on cold. A bit different compared to when you're cooking other meats. Normally you'd add a bit of oil, heat that up and then add your meat, but this you want the fat to actually melt, so hence why we've put it in the pan first and allow that to gradually heat up. So I'm just going to put it on a medium-high heat. My stove here goes up to a 9, so I'm putting it on a number 7. Right now, all we're trying to do is sear the duck. We want it to have a nice crisp on the skin, so not necessarily to cook it all the way through, because we're going to finish that off in the oven. Beautiful, darling. Look at that nice crust on it. So we're just going to do the same to the other side. I'm actually going to go ahead and add in a sprig of rosemary. You know when you're making stew and you're fighting with the oil? That's what I feel like right now. But 3 cloves of garlic. I'm not going to chop them, I'm just going to smash them. You can keep the skins on, doesn't matter. Chuck those in. 2 slices of orange. I'm just going to put that on top of the duck like that. I'm going to cover this in foil and bake it in the oven. My oven is set to 155 degrees. It's a fan assisted oven, and this is going to stay in there for an hour. Yes, a whole hour. This isn't something you make if you're in a rush, because duck tastes so good if it's cooked slowly. So low and slow, that's how we're going to go. That rhymed. So you can use foil or baking paper. I'm using baking paper because I don't have foil on me. Scrunch it up and place it around the duck like this. So yeah, super easy, just in case you run out of foil paper. It's kind of like, you know, when you're making jollof rice and you don't have foil, you can use a plastic bag. Did you know that? Fun tip. You put the lid inside the plastic bag, tie it and put it on top. Works just as good. Now we're going to move on to the sauce, the orange sauce. So for my sauce, I'm going to be using 1 shallot, some cloves of garlic, oranges, fennel, and rosemary. I find it so much easier to peel garlic once you've smashed it. Plus you can take out all of the anger of the day. The reason I'm opting for a shallot opposed to onion is because shallots actually have a much sweeter taste. Fennel is actually something that I was recently introduced to, I'd say within the last year or so, and I don't know why. I'd only really been familiar with fennel seeds before, but it makes such a difference. I've just mixed together the fennel, garlic and shallot. Right, so in the same pan that we used to sear our duck, add in a knob of butter. So once your butter's melted, go ahead and add in your fennel, shallots and garlic. All of this is going to add to the flavour of the sauce. So as that's cooking down, go ahead and add in some salt. This will actually help bring out the flavours of the garlic. Pour in 150 millilitres of white wine. Allow this to simmer. I don't want to rapid boil it. I really want to cook things slowly. This is something that I was taught as well, which I think is vital and really did actually change the way that I cook. So now that the wine has reduced, I'm going to go ahead and add the juice of 2 oranges. Just trying to make sure I don't get any seeds in there. It's best to use fresh orange juice, so don't go and use one from your carton or something. It's not going to have the same taste. Add in 2 tablespoons of honey, my what's clucking seasoning, just a teaspoon, some allspice, that's really going to go well with the orange, some black pepper, and some chicken stock. Right now I'm just adding 100 milliliters of chicken stock. As it's cooking and reducing, if I feel like I need to add more, then I'll gradually add more. So I've just diced some potatoes. I've washed them, cold water in the pan, because you always want to start boiling your potatoes from cold. So I'm going to boil the potatoes until they're soft. Okay, so what I want to do now is transfer the duck back to the pan where we have that lovely rich orange sauce. Place your lid on top and just allow for that to steam for another 15 minutes. We really want the duck to absorb all of that rich orange sauce. Now with our asparagus, I'm going to add it into the same pan that we use to roast the duck. That's going to, you know, there's no point wasting flavors, okay? So just move that around in that lovely duck fat. Remember the garlic that we didn't peel before? That's roasted now, so sweet. Give these another toss. Now there's no need to add any salt, pepper or anything, because obviously the duck was cooking in here, so it's got all of those spices infused in the oil already. Pop these under the grill. I'm just going to leave them in there for around 4 minutes, not too long, because I like my vegetables crunchy. So the duck has been steaming in the sauce now for another 15 minutes. Look at it, it's so succulent already. Now what I want to do is remove it from the pan. I'm going to allow it to rest, which is going to make it even more tender when we're ready to eat. Put that to the side. I want to reduce it a bit more so it thickens. So I'm going to put it up for a vigorous boil. So straight up to number 9, the highest heat. Now with sauces in general, this is why you don't want to over season your sauce, because by the time you reduce it, it is going to intensify the flavor. So my potatoes are now soft. I'm going to add a generous amount of butter and some single cream. Now I didn't add any salt to my potatoes just because I'm using salted butter and I am conscious of the fact that the sauce is very rich. So yeah, I decided to not add any salt when boiling. And there you have it, my roasted duck with an orange infused sauce with creamy mashed potatoes and grilled asparagus. I know you guys are absolutely going to love this recipe.